because I don't want to end up with mediocre content that sounds like everyone else, and I don't want AI sounding content inside my business. A lot of people work with ChatGPT or Claude or tools like these to create content for their businesses. I don't use them to create the content, but I do use them to repurpose the content and for other workflow things inside of my business. Now, the main reason I don't use it to create the content for me, not directly from scratch, is because I don't want to end up with mediocre content that sounds like everyone else, and I don't want AI sounding content inside my business. So you gotta get smart, you gotta work with the tools, and there is a better system to take your long form content that you worked so hard on and repurpose it and make it weeks worth of marketing for yourself. Now here's the trick. I don't restart from scratch every single time. In fact, I've created a bot that is trained on a lot of this, and that's what I'm going to show you what we're working inside of today and how you can do this as well. Now, I did create a resource for you on this content repurposing system that you can download from the free resource library on my website, and you can get access to this, and it has like detailed instructions on it as well. Now, this video is not going to be detailing how you can build one big long magical prompt that's going to do everything that you ask it to do as soon as you hit enter. No, it's about building a system around the workflow and around what comes out of your brain in order to make your content go further and last longer. Now, a few problems that I see with students inside of my membership or just other people talking about this on the internet is that they use long prompts every single time, and that they just kind of like paste it all in there, or they just like upload things to the chat and then it does its thing. That's not bad. You can definitely work that way. And when I started using chat, I definitely worked similar to that. But with the evolution of chat and with project files and custom GPTs, things have definitely gotten better. That's specifically why I like using project files inside of ChatGPT. Now, I don't know what it is for other AI tools. I'm still using ChatGPT. That is the tool that I have built my custom GPTs inside of, and I'm not really looking to move at this time. However, the thing that I like is that these project files, as well as custom GPTs, they can be trained and they can be formatted to do certain things. They can support the style of output that you want. They can follow the rules that you have set. They can understand what you do in your business and how you help people and who you help, what the tone is of the project or the writing or the offer or whatever it is that you're creating, and what kind of outputs you ultimately want. But if you have to do that every single time from scratch, you're probably not getting the outputs that you want. So I'm going to show you how to do it a little bit of a different way today and not have to start from scratch every time. And then I'm going to give you the system starter so you can actually go build this inside of your own chat today. And if you want to take this and use it elsewhere in other AI tools, I'm sure you can do that as well. So here's the reframe. You don't need to start with one giant prompt every single time. You need a system, and it should have layers. I'm going to show you kind of my 3-ish part system in this video. So the thing that I like to do is actually break this up into those layers that I'm talking about. So layer number 1 is project instructions and sources. Layer number 2 is the starter prompt, and layer number 3 are the follow-ups. So let's talk about what goes into your project instructions, and I actually have a demo for what this looks like later in the video, so you'll actually be able to see what this looks like inside ChatGPT. So inside of your project instructions, it should have clear instructions on what the custom GPT or what the project should do for you. Inside of my custom instructions, I have things like tone preferences, how I write, words to avoid, how I want content formatted, what this specific project's goal is, like what are they doing. So in mine, it is like a Pinterest marketing and content strategist, so they take on 2 different roles. How I want feedback handled, how I want things formatted in the chat. This is the guidance that's going to guide the entire project throughout the entire course of you using it. So your project instructions hold kind of rules that you have, baseline rules that should apply every single time. Now, in the project files, these are the sources, or this is what ChatGPT has recently renamed to sources. They used to be called project files. And these are resources that you actually upload or you paste in text format that it is going to reference. So for me, this is my really long about my business worksheet. That worksheet includes offer details, pricing, audience details, who I help, how I help them, what the outcomes should be. I also have a list of content that it can reference, free and paid offers, by the way, not just paid offers, but free and paid offers. The links to those pages are included. My brand voice and tone are included in there. And sometimes the chat will ask me if I want to change the brand voice or tone in that specific moment. Especially when we're doing sales content, it will ask if I want more authoritative or more relatable, things like that. I also have a list of ongoing keywords I want the project to reference, content I have previously created, including sales emails, sales page copy, so your project sources can go kind of long. There's a lot of things that you can add in there. So again, your project instructions hold kind of the behavior and the rules, and the project sources hold all the context to your business. Now, the fresh chat, which is layer number 2, this is going to be what you start each time that you want to repurpose content or create new content inside of the business from another piece of content. This is where things get multiplied. So what's going to go in here is the fresh starter prompts that I'm going to give you later on, and that goes in there every single time. It's going to go in there with a bit of context as well, because you're going to use things like your outline or what, like the content itself. In this case, I'm not re-explaining anything. I'm giving it the assignment for today. So I'm going to give it the initial prompt, the source material. I'm going to tell it what I want specifically created from the source material. Now the follow-up prompts are layer 3. And that's where this conversation can expand. So the starter prompt is going to start with what you want to start with. So maybe you want to start with like creating an email from a YouTube video. And then you want to follow that up with different angles for social media posts, Instagram reels, tweets, threads, whatever. That's really where you begin directing traffic. Some examples of follow-up prompts are like, give me a new angle on this, whatever that is. Give me a stronger hook to fill in the blank. I don't like the way that this is phrased. Phrase it like this. You can actually upload examples in the moment if you want it to kind of go in a slightly different direction, or if you want it to expand or compound on something. So the starter prompt gets you started. The follow-up prompts really help you to work out the kinks. So I want to actually show you what this looks like, because obviously you're all here to see what this looks like, as well as like learning what this should include. So I'm going to dive into the example that you're going to get, and we're going to open ChatGPT because I have written an example that we can actually use for this video.
Okay, so we are now inside the example, so let's just dive right on in there together. Now, the content repurposing prompt system that I have here is inclusive of the project instructions and a template, as well as what to put in your project files, a list of that, a fresh chat starter prompt that you can use, and you can kind of fill it in. So there's a template for that as well. And then there are the follow-up prompts for like expansion and refinement. And then, of course, at the bottom, I also included more of a shorter prompt if you want one towards the bottom. It's like a plug and play version. And then lastly, at the bottom is yet another kind of template section if you wanted to write your own instructions and not use the example or work from the example. There's also a template for fresh chat prompts and what it should include, as well as a section for follow-up prompts if you want those as well, if you want to write those for yourself. And then lastly is a bit of an example workflow that you can follow. Now that's just tab number 1. Tab number 2 also includes just a blank template that you can put content into. So we have one here for emails. And then in this example, I've actually built one out for social media as well. So I can actually add that here for you. So this one would be for social media. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to build out your prompt. And I have one built already that we're going to use together. So I have the starter prompt already to go. I'm going to copy everything and I'm going to head into my project file that I've already created. Now my sources are here, and then my project instructions are in project settings, and those are located here. Again, make sure you have this set up for yourself before you get started. because you don't want mediocre content. So take your starter prompt, paste it in, hit enter, and it's going to get to work. Now, a key piece of advice here I'm going to give you is to rename your chats and don't let the standard name that ChatGPT gives it or Claude or whatever to stay around, because if you want to reference this later, you want to be able to find it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rename this. Okay, so we're going to review what chat has now given us. So I've told it, I should back up. So my actual example is that here's my source material. This was the exact outline of my YouTube video I published several weeks ago. And then I have what I want from it today is a series of emails that include education and a sales email that I send out every week related to YouTube content, as well as some social media posts. Now, here's where I did not get specific in what I want today. And that's because I wanted to show you what the bot will do and how you can follow it up. I didn't tell it I wanted specific social media platform content. I just said social media posts. That's very vague. Maybe I want threads and I want it to take content from the direct outline. Maybe I want a Facebook post or a carousel or an Instagram reel. Who knows? If you're not specific, then chat's going to give you some stuff and you're going to have to follow that up. So here's what it's given me. I've got an education email and I have some subject line options, a draft of that body. And it definitely, just glancing over it, does look and sound like me. And then I have email number 2, which is my YouTube video alert email, subject line options, preview text options, the draft, and then I have a bit of a sales email here. So there are subject line options again, text options for the preview, the draft of the email, and then down below I have social media posts. Now this is where my project knows me. It knows I like to post on threads. So it's giving me 5 threads options. And then it's telling me where to put a link if I need to put one, or if it's just a text-based link. Then it's giving me an Instagram carousel, and this is an 11-page carousel, and it looks like perhaps it's just the slide outline at the top in the table, and then the carousel caption. It's also given me an Instagram reel to think about, as well as a hook, the script speaking points, a sample call to action I can use, and the real caption. It's given me cohesion notes as well, which is really great. So this is actually built into my prompt, where I told it to use my project instructions for this chat. I have in my project instructions very specific details when it comes to content strategy and repurposing to make the cohesion across posts all similar. I believe I actually built this into the project instruction template I've given you. I'm not going to take time to go look for that on camera. But at the end of it, I also told it, this is the kind of extra distinction I told you about earlier, to build the content in a clear and cohesive format so all the pieces are connected together. And I told it, I don't want you to make anything up. Only use the material that you're given. I want you to use my words and my voice and reference the project instructions and project source files as well as any other chats to help you. So that's the kind of the final distinction there that I've given the chat. And that's why it's giving me cohesion notes as well as guardrails and a call to action sequence. So this is really great. This is a really solid starting place. I have emails here. So I have emails that I'm going to be sending out. There's 3 emails, 1 alert email, 1 education, 1 sales. And then I have some social media content that I'm going to start creating for my posts in order to try and generate some buzz. It's whatever. We'll see how it works. So I've already worked on this exact framework from this exact kind of thing for a previous video and for all of the other content that I actually create and send. So if you guys have followed me for a while, this is it. This is what I like to do. Now, here's where the follow-up prompts can come in clutch. If you don't like the wording, the angle, the take, whatever, you can use the follow-up prompts and you can tell chat, I don't like this. So you can use those follow-up prompts for refinement, for feedback, for strategy expansion or content expansion if you want to go that route as well. The main takeaway here is to work smarter, not harder. You don't want to start this conversation every single time you log in and you want to work on content marketing for your business. You want it to be a system. You want it to feel smooth. You want it to be easy, otherwise you're probably not going to continue doing it. I keep the rules evergreen. They live in the project instructions. I keep the context uploaded to the project files. That way it can reference that on the go. I keep those project files up to date. If anything changes about my business, if I add new keywords, offers, if I've written new copy, I upload that to my project files. Then every single time I'm ready to create content for a piece of YouTube video, every time I'm ready to create additional content for my YouTube videos, I pull out my prompt, I pull out my bot, I pull out my outline, and I get to work. So if you've been trying to use one master prompt for everything, or if you've been trying to start a brand new chat and hoping for the best every single time, I hope this system can help you to refine your process, make it a workflow, build it into your system, and make this a whole lot easier on yourself. Now, I want to show you actually inside of my description, my doobly-doo down below, there is this link to sign up for my free resource library on Pin Profit Academy. Inside of there, I'm starting to move over my free resources, and I have put this exact content document that I have created for you here inside of the Academy here. You sign up for a free account here, then you're redirected to this page where you click this link, and then you go to this page and it lives in here at the bottom of the AI resources section. Okay, so you can grab this totally for free. It's going to make a copy into your own Google Drive. You're going to get to work. And if you have any more questions around content strategy or systems, you're going to let me know in the description down below. In the meantime, I will see you there.